Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Is she satisfied or dissatisfied? She is just a customer, just like everyone else. Like always, giving it to you raw and unedited. Over to you, the short one.
The heat is on. The heat is on. Oh my gosh, it is slightly warm outside. It is fucking burning outside. Oh my goodness, the heat, the sun. The short one does not do summer. The short one does not do sun. And it is like an oven out there. Oven. I say oven. Most people say oven, but it's an O, so it's oven. Oh, my friends always tease me on that every time. But seriously, it is boiling. Yesterday, I literally just went to cross the road like a chicken. Like, why did the chicken cross the road? Ha. I crossed the road, and by the time I'd got to the other side, I could feel the perspiration through my clothing, and the thing is, I recently just washed my hair, oiled my hair, with afro hair you got to oil it and stuff, and I could feel the oil as if it was just melting and dripping down my face. I mean, it wasn't. It was just a little bead of sweat, probably the mixture of oil. But, and I look around and everyone just seems so happy because the sun's out. And I'm thinking, seriously, what are you smiling about? Why are you happy? It is hot. It is damn hot. I just want to just take all my clothes off and walk around naked. Why can't we do that? I mean, if Adam and Eve just walked around with a leaf covering their bits, why can't we do that? I just don't get it. I mean, I get naturism now. When it's like this, I get it. I will gladly join a naturist community, thingy, whatever, group, society, whatever it is. I would gladly join a group of naturists because I just think, what's the point of having clothes when it's hot outside? I mean, within about a few seconds, you're already starting to sweat, You feel the under boob sweat, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. The back strap of the bra, you can feel it just like clinging onto your body, and it's just like, ugh. And the one thing I hate about winter, but summer, is sweat. I don't like sweat. My sweat, other people's sweat, don't like it. I just think it's so disgusting. Not phobia disgusting, but it's just so, ugh. And then I read on Facebook the other day that there's going to be a swarm of those flying ant things. And you know what? I hate those bitches. I don't like the flying ants. And I tell you why. The flying ants are not scared. They're not scared. They're here to come and take over. And they stick on you. Like, once they, like, at least a fly might just sort of like tap you once to say, hey, and then it will just fly off. Or any other insect. But the flying ants, they touch you and they're like, I'm here to stay, And you don't know they're on you because they don't carry any form of weight at all. So the only time when you know they're on you is when it touches your skin. And they could be just crawling in your hair, your back, just any clothing of you. And they could have been on you for hours. And most people won't tell you, especially if you're just walking along. Most people won't say, oh, excuse me, you got a flying ant on you. I mean, if someone did it to me, I would freak out. Because I hate them. I really do hate them. But I'm just scared to come out. I think I'm going to become a recluse. I'm going to become a recluse and come out when it's, I don't know, severe snow outside. And I hate snow. Snow's so annoying. It's nice to look out through the window, but when you have to go in it, oh gosh. But right now, I don't mind if an avalanche of snow just drops right here, right now in St. Albans. I wouldn't mind. I think I'll even jump out naked. I'll jump out naked in the snow and just frolic around in the snow and just make snow angels. Oh my gosh. What an image. Snow angels naked. Anyway, moving along to this podcast. So welcome to this week's podcast. Oh, it's so hot. I've literally got my fan on. I've got the blinds closed. I've taken all the advice when they say this is how to survive the heat. But it's still hot. I can't take it. I really can't. I can't take it. Shout out to all those homeless people that are out there, because you were probably wearing the same clothes through winter and summer, and I'm sure the summer clothing is like the winter clothing, jumpers, jackets, you name it, everything. Oh, shout out to you. But anyway, like I said, moving on. Podcast time. Oh. Do you know what? Even when you put ice in a drink, the ice only lasts for so long. That's how hot it is. I mean, if I was in the street and I fell over, I would just fry on the pavement. I mean, I don't know how hot the pavements are, but I just think, geez, if I was to fall, I wouldn't have those little kids grazing, I can't speak today, that you have, those gashes on your kneecaps. No, that won't be that. It will be just cooked meat. Cooked human meat. You probably will smell it as well. Be like, oh, there's a barbecue going. No, I've just fell over. And, my foot is cooking. Oh. So, this week in customer world, so I think I might mash up this podcast with a bit of nostalgia and just talk about, some of past events of me being a customer. But I'll let you know if it's current or past. But if it's past, I can't tell you when it actually happened, because I'm really shit at timelines. That's why this podcast is weekly. Because gosh, if it was monthly, damn, it'd be all over the place. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. So Pound World is going through administration. And at the top of the high street, you got Pound World. And right next door, you got Poundland. And I like the fact there was 2 pound shops next door to each other, because Poundland is like, okay, that's the one that's everywhere, blah, blah, blah. You see it practically in most high streets and stuff. But if you wanted something that was kind of unique or different, Pound World would be good to go to as well. And sometimes Pound World will sell things that Poundland doesn't. And if there was a long queue in Poundland, Pound World will have a shorter queue, and vice versa too. So the one in St. Albans, I went there the other day I can't remember what I was going to. I think I had no reason to go in there as usual. I just walked in there, and I completely forgot about the administration thing. And I walked in there and I was thinking, why are practically most of these shelves empty? I was thinking, and I was just having this feeling to go and ask of when will you get, whatever in stock. That's when I remembered, oh yeah, administration, don't ask. But what I did find, maybe it's going to happen soon, maybe it's happening right now that I'm talking, but a lot of their products were still £1. And I kind of thought, if you really want to shift the stock, wouldn't you make everything, I don't know, 75p, 50p or something? Because that will get your stock out quite quickly. I know they got like 10% or 20%, I can't remember what the board said in the shop window, off certain items. But I was looking at those big candles. I love, like I said before, I think I mentioned it before in my podcast, that I love candles. And the scented one, of course. The ones with no scent, I don't understand why they sell that. Because it's all £1 anyway, so why would you buy non-scented when you can just get the scented one? Even if you're going to burn one of those oil burner things, you know, you can still get scented. But yeah, so the things that I want wasn't on the 10% or 20% off discount thing. But yeah, but I just thought to myself as I was leaving the shop that it's going to be one of those things that you're going to miss. You're going to miss it. And then you'll take it for granted, like those times when you thought, oh, I'm not going to go to Pound World, or I can't be able to go that far up the high street. You know, I think I'm going to miss it. And they had nice staff in there as well, I must admit. You know, yeah, they had nice staff, and I've bantered with quite a few in there, so, shame. Let's go for a quick break. So www.iamjustacustomer.com. On Facebook and Instagram, I am just a customer, and on Twitter it's I'm just a customer. Wherever you're listening to this, don't forget to share it and all the rest of it. Don't forget to put a review or anything, and if there's anything you want to ask me, say to me, anything, communicate on either social media or on the form, the very long lined form on the website as well. Anyway, going back to the podcast. So let's talk reward cards. I'm a sucker for reward cards. You should see my keychain. It's got those little mini key whatever reward cards that it's got loads on there. Even in shops I've only visited once, I've still got a reward card in my wallet. Got other reward cards in there. I am a sucker for reward cards. But I must say, I would say out of all my reward cards, I do like the M&S one. I'll tell you why. I like the fact that when they send you an email and they say to you, oh, we've got new offers, you know, pick an offer. I think you can pick like 3 offers or something like that. And it's really cool because so far, all the offers that they've offered are things that I actually buy. Maybe 2 out of 3 or something. And, you know, the third one, I'm forced to buy it. And I wouldn't say I'm a regular Marks and Spencer shopper, but with the offers, I do walk through the door. And I did go through a phase of buying their 3 half chickens for £7 and then getting a salad. Because I found out that getting 3 half chickens is, you get more chicken. I'm going to sound really daft in a minute. There's more chicken than getting a whole chicken for £7. Now, yes, 3 half chickens, yeah, it's definitely more than a whole. I get that. But when you get a half a chicken, do you get the back? You don't get half the back. I like the, for me, the chicken, I like the drumstick. Even though nowadays you don't get much meat on it. I like the thigh. Oh, I love the thigh. And I love the back. Breast, no. Unless it's very moist and succulent, which the Marks and Spencer one is. But when you get the half a chicken, I don't think it's really half. Like they actually cut it in half. So if you put 2 halves together, it will look like a deformed full chicken. I could be completely wrong. You know what? To be honest, I've never had time to examine this in detail. I just tend to bung it in my mouth. But I know, like, if you go to Nando's to get a half chicken, it's definitely, if you put two of those halves together, it's definitely not a whole chicken. Because that one definitely is missing the bag. Yeah, so that one I do know. But yeah, the Marks and Spencer's one. And you know what? I wish smaller companies did that. You know, reward cards. Because it does bring repeats customers back in. And if you get customers like me, even if you weren't intending to go and get something there, you end up going there because you kind of think, oh, I've got enough points, or you know, if it's like the Marks and Spencer system, it's like, well, you know, they've got an offer on this, so let me just go in there and just get that. You know, and while I'm in there, I'm an impulse buyer. If I get, like, even Marks and Spencer's, when I go there and get my half chickens, I'm not in my basket, because baskets are so notorious. I should just go there with no basket and no trolley and just use my hands, because when I got a basket, I'll just go in there, get my half chickens, get my salad, but by the time I get to the checkout, I've got dessert, I've got chips, I've got some funny food that I've never had before. I might get some bleach and some household stuff, which I always forget that Marks and Spencer do. But I'll have some kind of pasta in there. You know, by the time I get to the checkout, I've got so many items in my basket is overflowing, literally. So, you know, but then they're closing stores, so something's not right. I don't know what it is, but something's not right. But anyway, I hope that Marks and Spencer's in St Albans doesn't go, because then if it does, I'll be forced to go to Tesco, which is good for my podcasting because there's always something to say about Tesco. Although this week I'm trying to avoid not talking about Tesco, because I don't want it to be a Tesco podcast. You know, that's what I don't want it to become. So, LBC. I love LBC. That's one of the main radio stations I listen to. I've got my few favourite presenters on there, Steve Allen and Nick Abbott. And what I like to do is, like for example, with technology, we don't have to watch things or listen to things when we're told to. So let's say, for example, with Netflix, you can watch what you want, when you want, and where you want. Even like with YouTube, you can also watch things as well, and wherever, you know, Amazon Prime Video thing, even though I find it quite hard to use. I've got it, but I find it so difficult to use. Netflix is so easy. But anyway, so with LBC, I use the subscription service, so I can listen to the podcast anytime I want. So, like for Steve Allen, he comes, I think, from 4 till 7. Is that right? Something like that, yeah. And I don't want to set my alarm for 4 a.m. just to listen to him, and, you know, that kind of thing. So I like to, so with the subscription and everything, I can listen to him whenever I want, and it's got no adverts, it's got no, look at me, I sound like a PR for LBC. So anyway, this week, suddenly got an email saying the subscription services ended, you know, it's no longer. And that was an email from WorldPay and LBC as well. But there was no because ... There was no explanation. It was just like, it stopped. Literally, whoever wrote that email, you could have just said, subscription ended. Just 2 words, subscription ended. Because all the waffle around it had no meat to the bone. It was just, it basically said that subscription ended. And the first thing I thought was, oh shit, did the money not go through? And because it's affordable, it's kind of like, whoa. But I was like, oh, huh? What the hell? And, oh, it did say that, you know, you can use the podcast service until whatever date, as in the date of my renewal of the subscription. So I thought, oh. And you know what? A massive part of me thought, well, okay, I'm not going to bother chasing it. I'll just listen to it real time. If I miss it, I miss it, or whatever. You know, it's their stats, not mine. And it's only when I went into Facebook and in the groups of all the various groups of LBC, whether it's presenters groups or whatever, that's when people were like also in the same boat. And I thought, oh, thank goodness it's not just me. But yeah, there was so, and even to this day, I still don't know why they finished it, but it's a shame. But I think you can listen to the last 7 days free of charge, like. But I don't know if you can listen to the ones which are back in the day, like in the 1900s and stuff. But, you know, it would have been nice to have a because, you know, or some kind of explanation. Why am I finding it difficult to say that word? Explanation. There you go, I've said it. So, speaking of Facebook, with the companies that promote their messenger thing, all I gotta say is that, all right, I can't give names or anything because I think they're a small business. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they are. So to err on the side of caution, I'm not going to mention the name. But so an advert came up on Facebook for their services, and because, yeah, if you have a Facebook ad, you want me to see it. Because I sometimes, if it does, like, interest me, I will click and, you know, take it further and stuff like that. And I could become your customer. And I could be mentioning in my podcast. But anyway, so they were having this service. And I inquired for more details. And they responded back in a very much copy and paste kind of way. It was so generic. They didn't even answer my third or fourth question. So I kind of thought, you know what? I can't be asked. You know, if you're not going to value the fact that I had to type every keystroke, and the thing is, my O button on my keyboard is playing up. So I have to really press it hard, the O. And O is not a popular letter, but, you know, it's a letter that appears quite a lot. So the fact that when I'm writing to you, sending you a message, because you've actually used the message thing as part of your promotion, and I'm typing away in a word that has a letter O, I have to look up to the screen to make sure the O has come up. And if it hasn't, I have to press it again. So, you know, the effort that I've used to send you some, you know, inquiries. And then you send me back something generic. I kind of think, well, unless you know someone at Facebook, I know you paid for that ad. And to be honest, if that's how you're going to reply to me, stick two fingers up. So I just left it. I ignored it. Then 3 days later, they messaged me and said, so are you still interested? And then I wrote back basically saying, well, I can't be interested in something where I got questions and they were not answered. And then it was like, oh, I'm so sorry. So what are the questions? So I'm like, well, why don't you just read back to my original request? You'd see it. So now you want me to copy and paste, or you want me to retype that shit? The O button is playing up. You know, it's hard work. But I just said that, you know, see above. That's all I put. And that had an O in it. So it's just like, oh, gosh. And that's when they responded, but they still missed out on what I was saying. And that's when I thought, oh, jeez. You know what? Sort that shit out. I mean, I might make the same mistake as well, you know. But I just think that if you're paying for an ad and somebody responds to the ad, at least take time out to not, you know, if you're going to use generic replies, make sure it kind of does sound a bit personal as well. But, so that put me off. I haven't talked about anything nostalgic. You know, I was going to say something nostalgic. Oh, I'll leave that for another podcast, a nostalgic one. So So the other day, I emailed a company. It wasn't my first time to email because they're quite good to email. I mean, they respond back within 48 hours. Sometimes it's like 50 hours later, but you know, who's counting? And and they always respond with me by email and stuff. And then one time I asked them one time I questioned them about something because I like to ask a lot of questions. And they said, "Oh, call this number, and they'll be able to help you." So I called the number, and the person that answered was the same company I emailed, and they answered my question, and I thought, "Oh," and I said to the woman, I was like, "But why didn't they tell me that by email? Why did they make me to call you?" Because when you call up this company, they take a long time to answer. Sometimes they don't even answer at all. And she was like, "Oh, I don't know." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I literally was just like, "Oh." And one thing I did think was, is it because you don't want to have... This is my initial thought. You don't want to commit yourself to putting something in writing? Are you a bit dodge? You know? So, but when I see things like that, I'm a sucker for it. So I always like back it up. Like, thank you for letting me know to call up, but to call up that number, even though it's your phone number. Just to confirm, I was told A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But I just thought to myself that that's a bit weird. And the thing is, my question wasn't even anything major. It literally was, what kind of ID do you want me to have? And it was strange because they normally do communicate on email. So anyway, that's going to be it for this week, because right now I think I'm going to just work out a way of how to go in a fetal position in my freezer drawer and just shut the door of my freezer and just rest in the freezer, because it's too hot and I can't cope, and I just want to become an Eskimo. I just want to become an Eskimo. Why can't I quantum leap into Eskimo land back in the 1800s? I missed that show. It was a very good show, Quantum Leap. But anyway, so until next week, love, peace, and dripping hair grease. Bye.
Oh, this you crazy mother...